What is up, guys? What is up? I am back. So today, Piers Morgan Uncensored released a CANDACE Owens interview. I thought it was very compelling, very interesting. As you know, whenever these influencers go on Piers Morgan, you know it's going to be a bloodbath, and you know that if you're on Piers Morgan, you're the talk of the town. You're part of the narrative. Like Nick Fuentes was on Piers Morgan last week, and that was a big deal. And I guarantee you that this Candace Owens interview with Piers Morgan is going to be a big deal. It came out 3 hours ago as when I recorded it. It's already got 320,000 views. And I'm looking on my YouTube right now, and it looks like Candace Owens is live with a new episode right now titled "Breaking News: We Received Photos of Charlie Kirk's Car." I'll watch that video later. I haven't seen it yet, but let's react to some of this Piers Morgan interview. I did watch the whole thing, so I'm just gonna react. I'm just gonna show you guys a chunk of it, and I do apologize. I don't have visuals of the Piers Morgan interview. I haven't had visuals the last couple videos. Reason being, I'm very busy. I don't have my room or computer set up yet, so I'm literally just recording this video and posting it as is. One take. I'm trying to balance my life a little bit, and I don't have time to edit right now, but in the future, just be prepared. I will have the actual visuals instead of just the audio. But let's get this started with Piers versus Candace.
That is not a country that I can get behind.
Let's get to some of the details, because it seems to me you've put up a lot of theories, but a lot of them don't seem to have a clear conclusion from you about what you actually think happened. I mean, you've been all over this now ever since Charlie was killed. What do you believe happened to him? Who do you think killed him?
So I can't tell you definitively who pulled the trigger. I'm not going to lie to audiences and just put something out there that's not real. But what I can say is I feel convinced that the feds were involved. I can tell you that. I think the feds were involved in staging a cover-up. I think Kash Patel knows what happened and did not happen on that day. I am convinced by me being told by people that are feds that he is not acting right and that he is not wanting to share any information. Just a couple of people are allowed to even see anything. A fed told me that they can't even touch the Charlie Kirk file without risk of being fired, and that he's grown increasingly mad. The U.S. Marshals that were there when they were doing the quote-unquote manhunt for 33 hours said that Kash Patel effectively sent them on a wild goose chase, which is what was signaled to the public when he said, "We got him," and it was actually the wrong person. And so it caused people to stop looking because they were convinced that they had the shooter. They felt that that was in order to allow the real perpetrators of the crimes to get away.
But that could just be the fog of the immediacy of these things. We've seen it at Brown University. Exactly the same thing. They thought they had the killer. It turned out to be the wrong person. Right? It doesn't mean there's any great conspiracy by the feds to cover anything up. And again, even if what you're saying is true, I don't know. Maybe you're right. If what you're saying is true, what is it they're covering up? You've so far intimated or inferred something weird involving Egyptian planes. So, what's that about? You've inferred perhaps Israeli involvement in some way. You've certainly inferred a lot of Turning Point USA involvement. That's a lot of people getting involved here in the murder of Charlie Kirk, potentially. But what I'm really curious about is, given you've been all over all this and you've been airing all these theories, well, which one is it? It can't be all of these things. Is it somebody?
Well, of course,
is it someone at Turning Point USA? I mean, who do you actually believe was behind this?
Of course, it can be all of those things. And what's really ironic here is that there's a clip of Charlie in the last months leading up to his death where he speaks about the JFK assassination. And he says that multiple countries were involved, multiple people were involved, the LBJ was involved, the feds were involved, And he's correct. That is what it means. When there is a conspiracy, there are multiple people that are involved. Of course, there's not one person on a grassy knoll who shot JFK.
Well, it might have been that.
There are people who had to agree to it. There had people who would have had to. The Dallas police were involved.
Candace,
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. But my point is, why aren't you just going to point to one person? That to me, even that seems like a part of telling people not to believe their own gut. Obviously, for this to have been pulled off, there had to have been multiple people involved. There had to have been people at Turning Point that were complicit in having this happen. Now, who knows what their motivations are? Doesn't mean maybe this person's like, hey, I'm going to help you.
Hang on. Okay, let me stop you. Hang on. When you say obviously somebody at Turning Point, you are accusing right now people that worked with Charlie Kirk at the company he built, which is now run by his widow. You are directly accusing people in that company of being complicit in his murder, right?
I want to just be very clear connecting that dot. So I said that when there is a conspiracy, of course, there are going to be multiple people involved. So applying that same logic to JFK, right? Knowing, as I do and as Charlie did, believe that LBJ was involved, which then implicates the feds as having been involved, which then implicates the Dallas police station as being involved. I believe Israel was obviously involved, that they were the ones that wanted him dead for saying that what is now AIPAC should have to register under FARA. So there's motive. There are people that have to be involved on the ground that day. There are people that have to be willing to allow the perpetrators to get away. There has to be media that's complicit, and that's what literally Operation Mockingbird was. It was established to persuade the public.
Candace, here's the problem.
Well, hang on. It was established. So
but here's the problem with everything you're saying.
In this massive cover-up.
You keep saying, and this is where people think you're prone to endless conspiracy theories for whatever reason.
Okay.
Is you keep using the phrase, they have to have been involved. So by that yardstick, what you're saying is, with JFK's assassination, and we recently had a lot of the files released, which did not conclusively prove any of these things, right? Now, again, I don't know what happened to JFK, but the one possibility you've not ruled in is it was just as simple as Lee Harvey Oswald. It might have been. We don't know, right? So when you say the media has to have been involved.
Yeah, Piers, you can't... That's a loss on Piers. I don't think it was just a lone gunman in the JFK assassination, but I do get his point that Candace is like giving this like it has to be, right? And like I get it. Like, yes, there's these weird things with Turning Point USA that are unexplainable. Yes, the FBI has lost its credibility a lot. Yes, the Egyptian planes are suspicious, but they could be suspicious for other reasons. They could be suspicious for a million different reasons. The Egyptian planes could be a whole other scandal that we don't even know about. But to say that, okay, yes, that they're suspicious or the Egyptian planes are a thing, therefore they had something to do with Charlie Kirk's death. To me, there just needs that one little tiny piece left that we don't have right now. And I don't even think we'll ever get it. And we'll find out. We'll find out the truth, hopefully. Hopefully during this trial, these things get cleared up. But the way Candace phrases it, it's almost as if it's factual or if it's like with 100% certainty. Like she gives that vibe.
It's been too many decades.
Has to have been, but my problem is you're stating all these things as fact.
We can't do 63. It's such a nonsense that to say this is Lee Harvey Oswald acting.
You don't know that.
That's just such a nonsense. I do know it was not Lee Harvey Oswald acting by himself, and then that required national security to lock down the files, and that required the feds to impart the CIA to impart Operation Mockingbird to convince the public that it was you can't go against. There's a grieving widow. Don't look further into it. Don't believe your own eyes.
But let me just say, this is your Candace.
It was a grand conspiracy that killed JFK. Candace, I am going to say that confidently. And I just think we have to grow up. We have to grow up. We can't keep pretending Lee Harvey Oswald killed JFK.
Fine.
We can't keep doing that.
That is your opinion. Today's show, QR code.
Sorry, let me skip the ad.
Conspiracy theories about JFK's assassination.
Fact.
It's not. It's an opinion.
No, that's a fact.
No, it's not a fact.
It's a fact.
It's not a fact. The whole reason.
She's like, it's a fact. It's a fact. And like, I get where Piers is coming from here, but come on, Piers. Like, you can't use the JFK assassination as your argument against what you think Candace is saying, because you're just going to lose. Like, the general public knows that there is this massive conspiracy theory with either Israel, the feds, Lyndon B. Johnson with JFK. So, like, Piers, come on, dude. Like, you can't use that. You're going to lose. But let's continue.
There are still conspiracy theories about JFK's assassination. None of this is a fact. You are floating it as your theory.
Because the feds are never going to admit to their own crimes. That is the reason we're still discussing it.
That may be the case, but you can't prove that.
Yeah, well, I can prove common sense that Lee Harvey Oswald did not stand on a grassy knoll and assassinate a president. And LBJ, like Charlie says in that clip, which people should go pursue.
Yes, I know Charlie said that.
All of the weird things that happened that day that were unusual, and LBJ decided not to ride that day. And then suddenly he reversed course on all of JFK's policies, and he was fighting AIPAC. Israel killed JFK.
All right.
Now, going back to your point about Turning Point USA, and the ridiculous idea that implicating, this is a $100 million organization.
Yeah.
Common sense. If this was not even a high-profile political assassination and this was just a guy who worked at a company that was $100 million, right? Common sense inquiry is, was there a financial motive for this person to be dead, okay? This is like Sherlock Holmes 101. And this is what I mean when I say that the public no longer trusts the media because you're acting us to be stupid. And we don't want to do that. We actually don't want to pretend that we're clinical idiots who can't assess things and go, oh, there could be a massive motive here to have Charlie dead, especially when it seems very strange that Bibi Netanyahu, when nobody even had a clue of what happened, this guy's doing the rounds on Fox News and saying, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. That's kind of weird. Did you feel compelled to jump on to Piers Morgan's show and say, just so everybody knows, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk? Why would he say that? Why was he so involved as somebody who's fighting a 97,000 front war?
Candace, I want to get to the reality of what you're actually saying. So when you say that somebody at Turning Point USA, Charlie's company, was complicit in his murder, who? Mm-hmm. Who was?
I believe that there were multiple people at Turning Point who are, as I have said many times, my exact words are, they are engaged in a cover-up of what happened to Charlie on that day.
No, but who was involved in his murder?
I didn't say that they murdered Charlie.
You said that people at Turning Point were complicit in his murder.
No, my exact sentence that I said was that there were people at Turning Point who are engaged in a cover-up.
No, you didn't.
Okay, this is strange to me because I don't really know the difference between either they're complicit or they're doing a cover-up. Because I feel like if you're doing one or the other, you're complicit, right? Like, okay, let's say they didn't know that Charlie was going to get offed that day. If they're covering it up now, it's like, well, okay, wouldn't they have known beforehand? Or it's weird. Like, why even cover it up if they didn't know he was going to die? Now, let's say that they did know ahead of time and they covered it up. Well, that is kind of being complicit, right? In his death. So either accusation, whether it's they're covering up the evidence or they were complicit in it, no matter what the conclusion is, it's just as damning. And it's such a strong accusation. And she can't even drop names. And that's the problem, is like, she has to be in a position where she drops the name. She tells you exactly who it is and what they did. And like, just to throw it out there isn't enough for me. I know it's enough for a lot of people on the internet. And I'm not judging. Like, I believe in asking questions. And I believe in the questions that she's asking are fair. It's just, she asks the question and then she gives that little bit extra to say, oh, yeah, they're complicit or they're covering it up, right? We don't know, like, all the way yet. Like, let's just ask the questions, but let's not jump to any conclusions because it could bite Candace in the ass. It can bite the whole conservative movement in the ass. Because let's say, like, a year from now, we have this massive scandal that is happening on the Democratic side, and we have this conspiracy theory with evidence that proves that what the Democrats are doing is wrong. Well, now they can just come out and say, well, Candace Owens said it, and she was wrong about the Charlie Kirk death, so therefore, you guys are wrong about this. Like, it kills our credibility, in my opinion. Now, if she proves going forward, and I haven't watched her new episode, by the way, that she dropped, but if she could prove either in her new episode today or going forward that, yeah, case closed, she cracked it, then she will gain, infamy, people will trust her, and going forward, yeah, we'll trust Candace Owens 100%, but with the evidence that we have today, it's risky, it's scary, she's putting it all on the line, and it could end her career. This could be the next Alex Jones, Sandy Hook conspiracy that destroyed Alex Jones. Well, if she doesn't finish this whole thing with 100% certainty, if she doesn't prove it, then it'll destroy her career too. And Nick Fuentes, by the way, came out, and like I predicted, he roasted her. And he said that if she gets all these defamation lawsuits against her, it could really be bad for her. So I don't know what her end game is. Maybe she's right and she has all the answers, but right now it's just like, come on, give us the names. If you don't have the names, then I'm not going to trust it,
I believe that thoroughly.
Candace, you didn't say that. You said literally.
I did say that on my entire show.
You said there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder.
Okay.
That's what you said.
When you and I were discussing, that's why I said, let's go back. I was applying the logic of a conspiracy to JFK. I said, okay, if JFK, you have people that are complicit. Of course, if you apply that logic, if there is a conspiracy, there's going to be multiple people that are going to be complicit by the time, in order for a large stage murder to happen.
You specifically said, you didn't say complicit in a cover-up. You said complicit in the murder. Because I said, who at Turning Point was involved in his murder?
They're both just as bad, by the way, in my opinion. Both the cover-up and or complicit, they're both bad. They're both damning accusations, so I don't really think it matters, but let's continue.
Let me clarify for you. Okay, you can keep saying what I said, or you can listen to what I am saying.
Okay.
When I was using the analogy of JFK and we were connecting it, I was basically pushing back on you because you were suggesting that, all of these people being involved would be crazy. So I was applying the analogy of what happened to JFK. Well, you actually, if you go back and listen, were suggesting that a conspiracy.
I said you don't know either. You're floating theories.
When we started talking about the JFK thing,
listen, let me make it clear.
Piers, I really think you're not holding on to your thoughts
Candace,
here correctly.
let me spell out my thought very clearly.
When we started talking about JFK, the implication that you were making was that it was crazy to suggest that multiple people could have been involved at different levels. I was then connecting the dots and saying that in order for the JFK assassination to happen, there had to have been tons of people that were complicit.
I understand. I heard what you said.
Maybe you're the person who takes the cameras down. Maybe you're the person that told him to drive that day. Maybe you're LBJ. So they're not all complicit in the murder, but they're all at different varying stages involved in the cover-up, right? So that's what a grand conspiracy actually is. And I do believe, so you don't have to go back and we don't have to go through it. I'm telling you what I think about Turning Point. I am very known for being honest about what I believe. I'm not exactly a person that you got to pull teeth on.
Sure.
I believe that there are people at Turning Point who are engaged in covering up what happened on that day.
But were any of them engaged in the planning of the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I wouldn't know how it was planned. Absolutely, I cannot confidently make that statement. I can say confidently that I know they're engaged in the cover-up because I've been investigating what happened on that day and what transpired thereafter. I've been clear. I've named those people on my show. I've said they are engaged in a cover-up, and I've listed the lies. So you don't have to try to make something out of what I didn't say. I tell you what I think. It's already controversial. We don't need to get more controversial, okay? Do I think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger? No. Obviously, I don't think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger. We don't even know who did pull the trigger. So how can I say that they're...
Did anybody at Turning Point, in your opinion, know that Charlie Kirk was going to be murdered?
There is specifically 2 people at Turning Point USA, and I have communicated that information to Erica and Justin Strife, that I would not be surprised if they had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
But do you have any evidence
I'm not going to name... I am not going to name those people, okay, because it's not right for me to name those people until I know for a fact that they did.
Did you give the name?
See, that is the biggest problem that I have. And I get it if you guys disagree with me on this, but like, she's not going to name the people because she doesn't know. She really doesn't know. That's what gets me. And like, let me just rewind it for a sec so you just hear what she says again, because I just got to hear it again.
I wouldn't know how it was planned. Absolutely, I can't make that. I cannot confidently make that statement. I can say confidently that I know they're engaged in the cover-up because I've been investigating what happened on that day and what transpired thereafter. I've been clear. I've named those people on my show. I've said they are engaged in a cover-up, and I've listed the lies. So you don't have to try to make something out of what I didn't say. I tell you what I think. It's already controversial. We don't need to get more controversial, okay? Do I think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger? No. Obviously, I don't think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger. We don't even know who did pull the trigger. So how could I say that they're...
Did anybody at Turning Point, in your opinion, know that Charlie Kirk was going to be murdered?
There is specifically 2 people at Turning Point USA, and I have communicated that information to Erica and Justin Strife, that I would not be surprised if they had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk being...
She uses the word not be surprised. I would not be surprised if this was true, or I would not be surprised if that was true. And maybe she uses her words carefully because she doesn't want to like be in some sort of legal battle and all of this is being recorded. But you know what you're saying when you say I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you know, it's like almost just accusing someone of something. And let's just continue.
Being assassinated.
But do you have any evidence?
I'm not going to name. I am not going to name those people, okay? Because it's not right for me to name those people until I know for a fact that they did.
Did you give the names Did you give the names to Erica?
Yes. So I absolutely did.
You gave the names to Erica of 2 employees, current employees at Turning Point, who you believe were involved in the preparation for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Is that what you're saying?
I told them that if I were in your shoes, these would be 2 employees that I would look further into. That's
what evidence do you have that they had any prior knowledge of the murder?
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the reason why I'm not naming them.
Oh, there it is. Oh, no. See, this is why it isn't sustainable. She just doesn't have concrete evidence. So she should just be a little bit careful as to how she presents her podcasts and her videos. And maybe the art of suggestion is her whole platform now is that I agree you should raise questions, but it's raising the questions and then adding that little extra bit, like I mentioned, of, well, I wouldn't be surprised if, or it might be that, or it's probably this. It's like you're building a coalition of your viewers to basically tear down TPUSA. That's what she's doing. She's trying to take them down. And if they are complicit, if they are responsible for the ending of Charlie Kirk, then she is 100% right. But then she says, I don't have concrete evidence. So I can't jump on the bandwagon 100%. That's just how I am. I need the evidence. I need the fullness of it. Because to me, it's like, it's just circumstances. It's all circumstance.
So I've been
responsible.
No
evidence,
not saying...
but you're telling the widow that these 2 people may have been involved in the murder. But you see the problem.
Well, the evidence for it is people that there was not concrete evidence. It's like you're trying to get me to say something that I never said and then asking me to defend it.
No, I'm asking what evidence you've got.
You're asking me privately, did I communicate to them that I think you should look further? That's called an investigation, Piers, okay? So what you're doing is a strategy of like, if somebody dies, you're saying to police, you can't ask any questions about anybody unless you have concrete evidence. We're at the stage of investigation.
I'm not saying
yes,
that.
You can. And let me give people in the public the permission to do this. Follow your instinct. If you feel something is off, keep asking questions until you get concrete evidence. And when you have concrete evidence, you should name those people. I don't have the concrete evidence.
You have named other people.
I find there inconsistencies.
Okay. But you have named other people.
I'm trying to answer. Piers, you can't ask me questions. You can't ask me questions. Let me finish it. I have communicated to them that their inconsistencies make me uncomfortable. I have communicated to them that somebody else who is a third party gave me some information that I am not yet comfortable as I am vetting it, giving it to the public, because that's the responsible thing to do. These are private citizens. And that if I were in their shoes and had more access to information, I would go down that route, okay? Unless I am fully confident that they actually did have something to do, like here is the smoking gun, I'm not going to name those people. Okay. But the people I have named thus far are people that I believe are engaged in a cover-up. Like I said, hold me accountable for what I have said.
Let's talk about one of those people. Let's talk about one of those people, because the the Turning Point producer Blake Neff wrote this in early December. Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She has made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees. She suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. Now, let's move then to, you said in your podcast that new information was given to you in your meeting with Erica Kirk about Mikey McCoy that's now satisfied you. On a video on the 27th of October, you devoted a whole episode to this guy and his supposedly strange behavior. I never said I
have information that satisfied me about Mikey McCoy.
Well, I'll ask you to clarify. Okay, well, you can clarify that in a moment. But let's hear what you said about Mikey McCoy before the meeting.
So we decided to slow this clip down, and we're going to watch this clip slow down so you can see that it is exactly 834 milliseconds from the time that you hear the shot. That is how long it takes for Mikey McCoy to put the phone to his ear. Now, why is that precise timing so important? Because there's no dialing. Mikey didn't have time to dial, okay? You can't dial and put your phone to an ear in 0.834 seconds.
Now, what was the new information that you got in your meeting with Erica about Mikey McCoy?
So I'm sorry your gotcha is not going too well, but I never then said, I am now satisfied that Mikey put the phone to his ear. What I presented to the public was what Erica gave to me. No, I didn't say that.
Sorry, just to clarify.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, you did say so you have
inferred
information
on your
that's satisfied.
Podcast. Well, let me give you the chance to clarify. It's a very familiar... Put money back.
Gotta skip the ad again.
Piers. You inferred on your podcast after the meeting with Erica that you'd received new information about Mikey McCoy, which had changed your mind. Would that be the best way to categorize it, or changed some of your mind?
No, I never said that. I just presented it. Well, the only thing that I clarified on my podcast, if that's what they're getting wrong, is that some people thought that he was using a nickname that was his middle name, and actually his real name is Michael, like first name Michael, because I was like trying to find something, and I was like, oh, maybe he's actually using his middle name. So that's what I clarified on my podcast.
And you were given call logs, is that right? You were shown call logs? You were shown call logs?
They gave me a printout of Mikey's call logs, and I gave it to the public. That's it. I mean, they're saying this, and then the public obviously...
Yeah, and I kind of went over this on my last episode with the call logs. Like, if you read the call logs, it doesn't feel like anybody on the phone is suspicious or weird. And, like, I get it. I get, like, the shots fired, and he pulls the phone up to his ear right away. It seems weird. It seems odd. But if TPUSA is giving her the call logs and trying to be transparent about it, then how much of a smoking gun is it really? You know, it's weird, but like there could be a million things that are weird about a situation, but it's like you have to have that little middle part that connects the dots, right? Like, oh, he picked up the phone because he called the guy who shot him and told him to run away. Like, that would be okay. That makes sense as to how it's tied to Charlie Kirk. But if it's just that, oh, he picked up the phone real weird and the timing was off when the gunshot went off, then yeah, like, it's not enough for me. Again, I'm sorry, everybody. I know there's so many people that are, you know, Team Candace, like, they believe everything she's saying. But, like, it's just like I'm taking it with so much salt, so much grains of salt. A lot of salt is flying across me in my aura right now because, again, I don't really trust anyone anymore. I don't trust the FBI. Like, you know, as much as I support a lot of Trump's views, I don't know if I trust Trump 100% anymore, and I definitely don't trust Candace 100%. I don't even trust Piers 100%. I don't trust anybody 100%. I don't even trust myself, okay? Like, so the call logs like showed transparency, and last episode that I made, Candace admits like, oh, like, I appreciate that they're being forthcoming about it. So then where is this gonna go? There's nowhere for this to go unless Candace gets a smoking gun.
So do you believe Mikey McCoy had any prior knowledge of Charlie's murder?
I can't say that he had prior knowledge of the murder unless I have something concrete. I can't say anything about prior knowledge. What I can say is what happened on that day. Mikey's behavior is weird on that day. I find it weird, like I said in the podcast yesterday, that what has been communicated to the public is like he called Erica instantly. First thing he did was call Erica instantly. And that's actually the call logs show that he didn't call Erica instantly.
But what are you suggesting about this guy?
He called his wife instantly, and then he had 3 ways.
When you got a massive platform,
and then showing his call logs showed that Blake Neff actually didn't tell the truth about what happened on that day.
But here's the problem, Candace. You have a massive platform, as you know. Millions and millions of people hang on your every word. When you devote a large part of an entire episode to the strange behaviour of Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, you are putting a target on the guy's back. You're inferring he has something to do with this, or something to do with some cover-up, or whatever it is you're inferring. You know what you're doing when you do that. When you saw Erica Kirk, did you say to her that you believed there's something suspicious about Michael McCoy? Was she able to explain to you why there isn't? Or does she share your view that he is somehow complicit in this in some way?
This is a camera lucida, and throughout the 19th century, it was
these darn ads. I promise you guys the format is going to be a lot better going forward.
Well, we actually dedicated more time to speaking about his father, who I think it's strange to me that man calls himself a pastor. I communicated fully that everything about that man makes my skin crawl. I think he's a bad person. I think he's involved with bad people. And this is obviously, Mikey's a son. And, I asked a bit about Rob McCoy and Mikey McCoy's relationship. I would just like to be clear. I am not going to be emotionally conditioned to believe that asking questions when we aren't getting any answers is the crime itself. The crime was when Charlie got shot in the neck. So,
but you've already said, you've already said though. You told
the easiest way to remove the easiest way. Let me finish. You can't ask me questions. Not let me finish.
You're contradicting what you've just said to me.
But you have to.
You said to me earlier.
What did I contradict?
You said you gave 2 names of people in the Turning Point organization that you believe are complicit in some way. You gave those names, but you wouldn't name them because it wouldn't be right to do that. But you did name this guy, Mikey McCoy, who was the chief of staff.
Because his actions are strange. You're 2 different things. Really, Piers, I think you're having trouble holding on to 2 buckets of thought here, okay? You said, in regards to someone that was complicit in murder, that is a very serious allegation. I gave them names of people that would not surprise me if they did have foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's murder. You are now shifting gears and you're asking me about Mikey McCoy and why I am raising red flags about his behavior on that day. Because I believe his behavior on that day was weird.
Yeah, so it's kind of odd because she's talking about his behavior on that day is odd, so therefore... But then the other 2 people that she won't name drop, she says, I wouldn't be surprised about their involvement. Well, what about it wouldn't surprise you? Just tell us. Maybe she's backtracking on it because now she's like the heat and the pressure is on her. Because she doesn't have a problem talking about this McCoy character with the phone and the weird activity. But then she won't talk about what is weird about the other thing, the other 2 people. So there's like inconsistencies with it, and it's like the whole thing just is odd. It's so strange to me. It's just this whole saga in the conservative movement is just like, what is happening? Because you could take a theory out of anything. You could call Candace a Fed. You could call Nick Fuentes a Fed. You could call Piers a Fed, right? You could call anybody. You could say one person's lying, one person's telling the truth. Tim Pool is acting. Candace is right. Candace is just banking off of Charlie and everybody else is right. Candace is a Fed trying to destroy the conservative movement. I can make a theory about anything with circumstantial evidence. I'm not going to do that because I just don't know. I don't know anything. I really don't. I'm just a normal citizen that is trying to figure this thing out, trying to put the pieces together, trying to hope that this gets settled so we can move on and focus on the midterms, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Ooh, it just does not look good. Not look good at all. I'm sorry for the conservative movement.
I think it's painfully obvious that his behavior was weird. I don't know people that don't duck when a shot comes down.
Complicit?
So I'm sorry that I have eyes, and I am agreeing with the public that Mikey McCoy's behavior was weird on that day. Okay, these are 2 different things. Now, if I'm going to make an assertion that somebody had something to do with planning this murder, I better be damn sure. And if I say that on my podcast, right? That's all I'm saying. I had never made.
But the thing is, Candace Owens' fans think that TPUSA had something to do with the murder. That's the thing, is whether she says she's just asking questions or not. What her fans are getting from her content and the conclusions that they're drawing is TPUSA is evil. They're in bed with Israel and Egypt, and they had either covered up or been complicit in the murder of Charlie Kirk. That's what the reality of the situation is. No matter how she tries to spin it, that is the conclusion that is being brought by millions and millions of people. She is the most popular podcaster right now because of this Charlie Kirk thing, because so many people on the internet want answers and they get addicted to this stuff. They get addicted to, crime shows, and they get addicted to conspiracy theories. And the other problem is the conspiracy theories during Joe Biden's presidency that the right was bringing forth about whether the conspiracy theory about Joe Biden's mental decline and him having dementia, or the conspiracy theories about COVID, like those turned out to be true conspiracy theories. Those turned out to be real, and the credibility skyrocketed for the conservative movement. But now I think she's riding off of that credibility, and it's hurting the future credibility of the conservative movement unless she proves it, unless she has the concrete evidence, which she is admitting on Piers Morgan that she does not have concrete evidence. She's just raising questions and causing animosity towards the movement. This is so counterproductive. You're going to have wokeism back in office here in the blink of an eye because of this nonsense.
That claim that Mikey McCoy planned Charlie Kirk's assassination.
No, I think like a lot of the claims you're making, it's difficult to work out what you're actually claiming. You're throwing a lot of mud in the air, including people's names, which immediately then has millions of people chasing after these guys on social media and thinking...
I'm sorry they get caught lying. Like, I'm sorry, what is this? This is like, the public is actually being abused, okay? Let's stop pretending that the victim
are they, or
is
do you just
Rob
want them
McCoy.
To think they are?
No, the public is being abused because you're basically saying, stop noticing that people at Turning Point USA are lying.
No, I'm not.
How dare Candace and the public know? Yes, you are.
No.
How dare Candace
and the public? But when there's
an
emphatic repudiation of what you're saying...
If Mikey lies and Rob McCoy lies and Blake Neff lies, and yes, all of these people have lied on record.
Okay, but if you go back to the call logs, it's like are you really lying about who you called on the phone during that whole moment where Charlie was, like whether he called Erica first or he called his wife first or he said he called one person first and called the other, like, does it really matter if the call logs show that he didn't call anybody else other than friends, family, people, and like... That's the thing, is if he lied and then the call log showed that he had a call from Bibi or he had a call from these Egyptian assassins, then yeah, I get it. But it's like, did he really lie or did he just forget? Because you can also make the argument that, he forgot who he called in that moment. So it's like, again, like I look at all angles. I try to, piece it together in my own mind. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
After the assassination, and the public goes, hey, that's kind of a weird lie. You're like, how dare you put a target on their back by noticing that they're lying? I mean, what weird psychological operation is this?
Do you believe
lie.
Okay, but do you believe Erica Kirk has been lying about it?
No, I have been explicit on my show when people were saying, why aren't you attacking Erica Kirk? I said...
But the thing is, a lot of her audience does think Erica Kirk is lying, does think Erica Kirk had something to do with it, does actually hate Erica Kirk, and like Erica Kirk is getting so much heat online. People are making fun of her, people are making jokes about her, and like if you rewind to like the moments that everybody heard that Charlie Kirk was offed, like if you thought in that moment that, all these people are going to just start attacking Erica, his wife, the widow, like you would kind of be disgusted about it. You would think it was a left-wing thing to do that. But now it's turned into like a lot of millions and millions of people that are conservatives are attacking Erica Kirk. And it's kind of crazy. It's wild. Now she's like backtracking it a little bit because she has been throwing some heat at Erica. Like everybody knows it. Nick Fuentes has been brutal against Erica also, and he is against Candace. But I don't think, maybe she's just backtracking. Like I don't think she knows how much she's really suggesting out there, and how much anger and heat that she's putting out there against Turning Point. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. It's so bizarre.
Because Erica Kirk has not lied. If to the extent that she lies, I will call it out. And that is why I did call out when she lied, okay? When she said Charlie Kirk never received any text messages the night before saying that he was worried about that he was going to get murdered tomorrow. I instantly said, well, here we have it. That's a lie. He definitively did send out text messages to both Dan Flood and Andrew Kolba. And when we met in person, she clarified that, okay, yes, that's real. And we didn't know until you said it because he was using a different app and she was checking his iMessages. So to me, if you lie, you're going to make an enemy of me. Just don't lie. How about that basic requirement to say to people, don't lie about what happened on that day. Don't lie about what you did on that day, because that's the first clue to investigators that person should be looked at further.
All
Again,
right.
And I do agree with Candace on that. Like, why are you lying? Like, I mean, if they are lying, but like it hurts TPUSA. Just be truthful. Just be honest. Who knows? I mean, that's why people are suspicious. Like, it goes both ways. Like, if TPUSA is lying about shit, it's like, come on, guys. You can't do that. You're just giving Candace more ammo to destroy you. And again, if Candace is right, they deserve to be destroyed, obviously.
Common sense.
Okay, let's move to something else Blake Neff said. He said Candace has made other stranger allegations involving French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah, and potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels. At one point in early November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley's soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There's always something new coming up. None of it ever pans out because from the start, there's been nothing there. What do you say to that?
He's lying, and that's the reason why Blake Neff is a suspicious character. I mean, him saying that I pointed to a soccer UVU person is complete fiction. I never had discussed that person on my show. Somebody was asking for a clearer photo of the person on X, and I shared it. No suspicion. Never said this person had anything to do with anything. I never covered him as a suspect on my show of anything at all. Didn't ask for more information on this person. That kid instantly responded and said, oh, those are our school colors, and that was it. And Turning Point tried to turn it into a thing. Why are you doing that? Regarding the Egyptian planes, that's a fact. Why are you saying she said that there was a military Egyptian plane on the ground that day? There was. In fact, there were two. So why are you pretending that that's like a weird thing to notice? And that is why people have been flagged about these planes. To his other,
let me ask you about the planes.
I'm never allowed to answer a single question that you say in entirety before you move on to the next question.
You can't just keep talking ad infinitum. I'm allowed to ask you another question.
No, it's called answering. You just read an entire statement of multiple points of Blake's.
It's called filibustering.
I got to the second point, and you're like, let me ask you a question.
No, I want to ask you... No,
Piers, you already asked me a question. I'm trying to answer the question that you asked.
No, I want to ask you a follow-up specifically about the Egyptian planes, given you've now addressed it, which is, where is the evidence that any of these Egyptian planes were tracking Erica Kirk?
Your connections to the past.
Oh, this is going to be good. Come on, Ad. Let's go. Let's go.
Dear Acorns, I was 19 when I got pregnant. I worked 3 jobs at once to keep us afloat.
I am going to be...
You're doing this deliberately. You're inventing things or just flying ludicrous conspiracy theories to make money. No, again, Candace...
Hold on one sec.
Amount of money. Most women...
She's not a woman!
Sorry, I accidentally fast forwarded. Give me one sec. And it's lagging.
Treating them nothing. The media is doing... Oh, I don't know.
What's your theory? It must be... I'm used to shit...
Sorry, bear with me, guys. I hit a button by accident.
Let me ask you.
Showing that these planes were tracking Charlie. At various times there were Erica is. Various times there were Rob McCoy is. But the consistent thread here is faith. Faith events. Like Kingdom to the Capitol tour.
Assuming you're right, and I don't know, but I know Erica Kirk, when asked about this, said on CBS, if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You, Candace, say I was here on this date. I have a photo on my phone to prove I was actually in hospital having contractions. So that's one thing she's directly repudiated. But let's assume for a moment you're right, and that all these Egyptian planes were flying around tracking Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, Faith and Erica Kirk. Why? What is your theory?
I don't know. I don't know.
But what's your theory then? You must have an idea.
My theory is that we should investigate everything strange that happened on that day so we can figure out what happened.
But are you suggesting
Why are we pretending that we don't know why we ask questions? Like, why? Like, you're a journalist.
You
know what this is. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? Why do you want to know why these planes were tracking Charlie? Well, my theory is that we are being sold absolute Fed slop. The media is doing their Operation Mockingbird Part 2 scenario by telling us, well, unless you absolutely have a conclusion, you can't even ask the question. Yes, we very well can. Keep asking consistent questions until we get a clarified explanation for what happened on that day. And right now, we have nothing, okay? And that is the reason why people are watching my show, because I'm the only one not treating them like they're absolute idiots who don't have two eyes, who believe in magic bullet theory, and who understand that Egyptian planes should not have been tracking Charlie even 3 times this year would be an anomaly, okay? They've been tracking him. We don't know where it's going to end, but we are going to keep asking questions until we get clear answers.
Candace, it may be that the person in the media spewing bullshit to the public is you.
No, nice try. It's not. It's you by saying, why are you asking questions? Don't you worry about Mikey's feelings? Everyone knows what this is. And like I said, because we have the example, the concrete example of after JFK's assassination, the media members quite literally being put on the payroll of the CIA, we have a historical example that we can look at and go, we're not doing that again. Doesn't matter how many times you keep telling the public that I'm spewing bullshit. It is only because there has not been anything that has come out of this investigation that makes any sense that the public is not listening to. I am sorry to say this, Piers, people like you. And what I love about you and I sitting down is that this exact same time last year, you were doing the same weird questioning and making all these things when I said that they were committing a Holocaust against the Gazans, and then you changed your mind.
Actually,
Piers,
this time,
I'll see you next year when you change your mind again, and we have more information about what happened, and you realize that the difference between me and you is that I have the courage to take the risks and ask the questions first, okay, before it's popular. You wait until it becomes popular, and then you change your mind.
You may remember that one of your courageous moves was to repeatedly tell the world that Brigitte Macron is a man. As you now know.
All right, I'll end it there. This is a long video, but in regards to the Egyptian planes, yeah, it's very suspicious. I agree with Candace on that. It's very, very suspicious. But there could be a million reasons why they were following them. Maybe TPUSA is in bed with Israel, and Israel's in bed with Egypt, and therefore they're tracking Charlie. Or maybe they're tracking Charlie for other reasons. But it is very strange. I will give Candace that. The plane is strange. But again, it doesn't go anywhere until she has that concrete connect-the-dots evidence, that part in the middle that she's missing. But anyway, I thought it was a very fiery debate. I suggest watching the whole thing. I didn't cover all of it, obviously, because it's an hour-long video. And I will watch Candace's newest episode that she just dropped today to see if she has any smoking guns. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. I want this channel to grow. Like I said before, I will have visuals in the future. I will have a better setup in the future. I might have a better mic. I'm just testing the waters again and trying to work around my busy schedule. But I appreciate you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.